Hello everyone, welcome to Chess Gaja's YouTube channel. I'm Grandmaster Priyadharshan, and today we are excited to have one of our students managed to beat a Grandmaster and also managed to draw against another Grandmaster in the same tournament. And so we have Priyansh Garg joining us from US. So glad to have you join us in the session today.
Thank you.
So, as I was earlier mentioning, you joined Chess Gaja in 2021. I believe you were rated around 1300, professional rating, and now you're basically a national master. And so, yeah, I think if you have the games with you, you can go ahead and share. Let me give you screen sharing access. Give me a moment.
Sure.
Yeah, you can share your screen now. Okay, fantastic. And yeah, your screen is visible. Before going into this, can you just say, like, when you saw the pairing, did you do any specific preparation for this game or anything you prepared for this game?
For this game, I just wanted to play my natural chess. I kind of just reviewed my lines in like the opening which I played here, the Jobava. I
Did
didn't.
you know like what Jesse Kraai played? Like, did you prepare his games on Mega Database or Chess Base something before the game?
Yeah, I started like seeing like if he had played anything against Jobava. Sadly, I couldn't find anything,
Okay, okay.
but I
So,
did know
and
like the first 2-3 moves.
okay, and this was like, is this like the morning round? Like, did you have the pairing like late in, was it like the first round of the day, or was it like you had already played a morning round and this was like the second round of the day, like that?
Yeah, so I got the pairings at night. My round was in the morning.
Okay. So you prepared like what, like half an hour at best, maybe, and
I probably prepared like half an hour to an hour. Yeah.
fantastic. Okay, so great. Can you just start showing the game and show some critical moments?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I played the Jobava.
Okay. And at what point were you kind of like on your own, like maybe you are out of your theoretical preparation or such anything? Was Bishop D3 like a prepared move? You were kind of
Yeah,
new.
Bishop B3 was pretty much prep. Yeah.
Normally they go knight F3, right? I mean, as Bishop D3 also kind of popular. Like normally they'll start with knight F3 and they wait to see where they put the bishop, right? On E2 or D3, or am I being wrong here?
I mean, in my files, it shows Bishop D3.
Okay, okay. And
Um,
what do you do if they take on F4 and like kind of break the pawn structure? What's like, can you just maybe give some idea what happens if Bishop
yes. So
F4
the
here?
plan is to bring my knight to sorry.
Yeah,
My plan is to bring the knight to E5
okay,
after takes, and then to possibly play like some G4, G5
okay.
moves in the future.
So for what would happen, let's say if I play Bishop F4, E F4, Queen D6 and attack the pawn, what would you do?
I would probably go Queen D2 here.
Queen D2, okay. And if I play something like C5 there, maybe you can even make the moves on the board so that you
Oh,
can it's
yeah,
visible.
sure. So C5 here.
No, I'll first play Queen D6 and I'll see what you want, what you do. And if I do C5 here,
Okay, C5 here. I would probably take take.
and, and you would short castle or long castle, like what's kind of your idea here?
Here I would probably short castle.
Okay, interesting. But wouldn't you not get a better attack if you long castle and get your same knight E5, G4 kind of thing?
I mean, I could do either.
Yeah,
Both could be like possible.
got it, got it. Okay, makes sense. Fantastic. So, okay, so if bishop F4, then this is what's the line you had in mind. Okay, so basically the F4 pawn manages to give you a good grip on the E5 square, right? That's so you're okay kind of getting the doubled pawn and not having like any center pawn. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. fantastic. So, okay, we can go back to the fifth move. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so he played castle and you had gone knight f3. Yeah.
Mhm.
And like, what was it like a surprise for him, or was he like also like playing natural moves? Like, was he taking a lot of time, your opponent?
Based on what he told me, he didn't expect a Jobava. He said he didn't know any theory.
Okay,
Um, but he said he did know some like ideas. Yeah.
I see. So, but was he burning a lot of time on the clock to make his moves?
By this move, he burned around 10-15 minutes.
I see, I see. And this is like a 90-minute with like 30-second increment, or what time
This
control?
is 110 minutes with 30-second increment.
Ah, okay, fantastic. Great. So, yeah, keep going ahead. So, can you go back? Just I'd like to get some clarity. So after queen c7, um, like okay, so why knight e5? Like is queen d2 an option? Like or like why did you choose knight e5? I'm just trying to understand. Like why not queen d2 and just quickly long castle or short castle? Why it feels like knight e5 can be attacked, no? Like via knight b d7 or something. So can you explain maybe what was your thought process in knight e5?
I mean, I thought queen d2 was also possible. Maybe knight e5 was slightly worse than queen d2 in the game. But I still thought it was okay because I could go queen e2 and castle anyways.
Okay, so you wanted to put the queen on e2. Interesting. And by now you already were you clear you were going to long castle? Because in the game I see you did long castle, but like were you already kind of visualizing a position that after long castle?
Yes.
Okay. The reason why I was not so sure of knight e5 when I'm saying this position is because I feel it, it immediately is getting attacked, right? Knight d7, either knight b or knight f d7. And I feel like, knight on f3 might even jump to g5. So I feel like keeping the knight on f3 seems more logical to me as of now because knight e5 might come any point in time. I feel queen d2 or e2, I don't see a big difference in the attacking potential. And so I just, to me, queen d2 seems more natural. That's why I was asking why how you chose knight e5. Okay, so can you continue? Yeah. So how were you assess evaluating a position like this? Were you happy with the opening outcome that you got?
Yeah, I thought I was fine with it. I was slightly worried about his attack, but I thought I had time to like
Mm,
deal with it. This is around equals.
okay. Like, but were you feeling, I mean, evaluation wise equal, but you kind of believed in your attack. Like you thought you could build the attack very promisingly here, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But did you have this kind of maybe doubt if you play g4 and all, like who will defend the f4 pawn if like some knight f d7 or something like that? Were you worried of the f4 pawn a bit or no, not really?
I mean, I was slightly worried, which is kind of why I played queen e3 later in the game.
I see. Got it. Okay. And what plans did you think your opponent would do? Like, was that what did he do, or were you thinking he would do something else, like as a plan here? Like, what plan were you expecting Black to do here? Was it the same as in the game?
Yeah, I was just expecting a6, b5.
Okay, fine, fine, great. So then, yeah, if you want to add anything, you can, or if you want to show the next moves, yeah, please.
Uh,
So can you explain the G5 variation? What does it do of G5?
yeah, so I looked at this in the game.
Okay.
I thought it was very interesting, but I feel like at the end of it, black just comes out on top.
Then
Like,
can even black just simply move the rook to e8? Like, does he have to give up the exchange rook on f8? Like, he can just move rook e8 even, right? Because queen h8, that is king f7, correct?
but don't have knight e5.
But maybe,
Oh
okay,
yeah, he
I
can
might
take.
have to play queen e5 there, yeah? But then similar, some exchange act, yeah? Queen takes e8 check.
Yeah.
And maybe can we go a bit slower on this line? I would like to see a few variations on this g5. Okay, so knight fd7. So more or less everything is forced, right, at this point. G6, knight f6, queen h4. But f takes instead of fg6, okay, yeah, everything seems forced because if not, I don't have anything to stop gf7. So, and you evaluated knight h7 as better for black, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and there is no way we can bring the rook to h file. And it's too slow. What if, let's say, rook h e1 here? Can we try some rook e1, rook e3, rook h3, or how do you think black will defend that?
I mean, it's possible, I guess. I felt like it was too slow in the game.
Okay.
So
Um,
like rook h here,
and one
right?
again. Yes.
So let's say we take
Pawn
take
takes.
yeah, and like, well, not pushing the up. It's definitely interesting.
I actually was thinking of a line, but I'm not sure if that, okay, let's say b4, yeah.
Yeah.
And rook e3. Let's say we give up the knight and try for the checkmate.
Mm-hmm.
What if we just like straight up just run, let's say rook d8 here?
Okay. So rook h3 doesn't work.
We need to calculate that, no? Rook h3, king f8, queen h8, king e7, queen takes g7. Yeah. I think black will survive this. Yeah, black can even play b takes e3 here, possibly.
Yeah.
And it does look, I mean, still some lines to be calculated, like b takes e3, rook f3 seems pretty intimidating, or even g6. B takes e3, g6 looks very sharp as well. Like, for example, I'm calculating b takes e3, g6, let's say king d7, g takes f7, king c6, f8 queens. This seems too much complication there.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe can we find a better defense for black? I feel like white's getting a bit too much attack here for the sacrifice to material. How about after rook e1? Let's find something better for black on move 16.
Okay. Move 16.
What do you think? Let's calculate a bit. Did you consider this move maybe in your during the game, this rook e1 idea possibly, or not really?
No, I didn't.
Okay. And what happens, let's say, if black kind of like defends like very directly, like knight e5, f e5, and goes like g6 and tries to move the rook and go queen e7, queen f8, queen g7, something like that. And play g6, yeah. Queen h6, okay, rook d8. So we are not in time, yeah. Rook e3, queen e7, rook h3, queen f8, and we mate. So one
Yeah.
tempo short we are as black. And but wait, I have an interesting idea. Instead of rook d8, go back. After queen h6. No. After g6, queen h6.
After
G6, move 18, queen h6.
so instead of this.
Yeah, here. What do you think of f5 here?
Yeah, f5 probably defends the position. So
Mhm.
yeah, and then queen here.
Yeah.
And white's attack is pretty much gone.
You think so? What if, let's say, I still pull back queen f4?
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to go f4.
So king f7 here.
Okay.
Okay.
But still white has two pawns, no, for the piece. Actually, now it makes sense why queen e3 might be better. Yeah, you're threatening to capture on c5, so it's a much more forcing move than queen f4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we'll look at queen e3 for a moment instead of queen f4 because I thought queen f4 means we can do something on f7, but queen e3. What do you
So
think of this
say
position?
knight here.
Okay. So what do you think of this position? Yeah. Like, could you take white or?
Mine definitely has a lot of initiative.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I would like seriously consider taking white. I really like white's position here, to be honest. And I mean, I'm looking at rook d4, queen g3, rook h4 ideas. Also, whenever you go king f7, there's always some knight takes d5 ideas possibly coming up. Yeah. Or even
yeah,
rook g1 looks a bit tempting to me right now, like immediately trying to put some pressure down the g6.
yeah,
I think this is really good for white. Even if, let's say, black does sacrifice knight f6, gf6 at some point and take rook f6, I still feel that's equal material to start off and a very weak black king, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think this might be interesting, rook e1, unless we can find a better defense for black.
Well, king h7 is pretty much forced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this line is forced. I'm saying is instead of knight e5, unless we find a different defense, because this is pretty much forced as we just saw, right? We can't bring the queen in time without allowing rook e3, rook h3. Yeah.
Maybe like knight here,
Okay.
just giving up the third pawn.
Yeah. And
Though it does open up the d file for white, which could be very, very risky.
that is true. Yeah. Knight e4, d4.
Taking the pawn isn't a good move, I don't think, because it allows bishop to b7.
But still, you can go queen g4 and attack e6, or g6, which also looks okay. But I think you're kind of, I mean, my first choice move here would be like rook to d6, trying to kind of discourage bishop b7 by picking up the e6 pawn.
Yeah,
This also looks to me very good for white, to be honest here. I like white's position here.
yeah, same.
And I also think for knight e4, white can go knight e2 as well, because then you play f3 and the knight is trapped. That also looks to me very convincing.
Mhm.
So yeah, this I think is just black. Um, I don't think black can defend. And how many pawns does black have for the like black is already like only like I mean white has two pawns already as compensation, and with so much initiative, I think this is more than enough for the sacrificed piece. Yeah.
Yeah,
White is definitely picking up a third pawn on e4 or e6 or g6 at some point. And 3 pawns is materially itself equal, and with so much activity, I don't think black can do really anything. And so, okay, so can we maybe go back a bit to rook h e1, unless if we can find something better as a defense. Mm. And what happens if we play knight e5, f e5, and directly go rook d8 here?
Okay.
So we don't want to include that one b4 move, which kind of is like losing us a tempo. So white will play rook e3 here, right? And but if we go king f8 now, it's just helping white. White is not going to waste that one tempo with rook h3, right? And white will just simply play queen check and queen g7. Do you find any promising defense for black here?
Not that I can see.
Okay. So maybe this was also a nice line for white, yeah? So far, we haven't been able to find any outright defense overall against this rook h1, yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting. So maybe a line to consider. I think mainly the attack is working or seems to be working so far. Also, white can also play rook d4 here because it's now that f e5 is there, yeah, instead of rook e3. Rook d4 could also be possibly strong. I think mainly it's because the rook on a8 and bishop on c8 are like non-existent in the game. Yeah, like even though white is piece down materially, black is like a rook and like a kind of like a full rook down because the rook is not taking part in any active play. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. But I guess obviously you could not figure out some of this over the board. So let's see the game. Can you maybe show the game? Yeah. It's okay, queen e3. But weren't you not maybe worried some d4 kind of move might come for queen e3, or had you figured it out? It looks very tempting for black to play d4 for queen e3.
I mean, I didn't really think d4 was like all that good here.
Oh, because you
Definitely,
have a tactic, right? If I go rook d8, you would go bishop h7 there. Yeah.
yeah.
Because I was looking at queen e3, if you can make it on the board. Just want to show it. Can you play d4 on the board, Priyansh? Should be great.
Yeah, sure.
Not here. Two moves earlier. Not here. Not here. I'm saying without b4. I'm saying here.
Hmm.
Like queen takes d4 and some bishop. Because I wanted to go rook d8, but bishop at 7 and we win the rook. So what if I start with bishop b7? Don't you think black is just getting too many tempos attacking the rook and the queen? Like, I don't know if you considered something like this.
Um, I mean, it's very interesting, but I don't think like I think white can probably figure it out, possibly.
Okay. Because d4 looks tempting to me because I actually think that d5 square, is can be used by black. So like what black might do next is black might play b4, right? At some point, like rook d8 and then b4. And once the knight moves to e2, then knight comes to d5. Right? So for that one pawn that black manages to open up like basically two like bunch of files and diagonals, right? Like some really good squares. So d4 looks very tempting to me as well. But okay, he played b4, so
Would we play like g5 here possibly? Or is that just not
And
so?
if I go rook d8 for g5,
Queen e3.
okay, and then like even if I play knight d5 there, let's say queen e3, knight d5,
Okay.
knight takes d5, right?
Yeah.
And I go bishop takes d5.
Yes.
Don't you think the attack has kind of slowed down for white, but black has like, C file, D file, even bishop takes A2 might be a possibility, right? For black, because B3 is some knight takes B3 kind of checks.
Yeah, that's true.
To me, D4 looks very, very tempting. If I was playing black, I think I would consider D4 to be my first choice in my list of candidate moves. Because I what I've read or what I've understood is like you can do pawn sacrifice when if you manage to open up like two or more things, like one file, one diagonal, or two files, or something like that, then more or less, most of the time, such a pawn sacrifice is always justified. That's my understanding, I've seen. So if you can manage to generate activity in, let's say, one open file and one long diagonal, or let's say two open files by sacrificing one pawn, then it's like a fully justified pawn sacrifice. And that's how I see d4 here as well, because it opens up that a8 H1 and also the D file for black to create activity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's see the game. Can you show the game? Yeah. Okay. A5, G5.
Yeah, I was not sure why he didn't play knight e4 here.
Okay. Like, did he explain anything? Like, when you spoke to him after the game, Grandmaster Jesse Kraai, did he
I
say anything?
guess he said to me that he thought that f5 would come, which I mean maybe, but I feel like that's fine.
If knight e4, f5, what do you think black would do then?
Well, I guess takes
Okay.
knight here,
Okay.
and then bishop here, bishop here. I guess bishop here is better,
Mhm. Yeah.
and knight here.
This looks kind of good for white, no? Like, as in, like, I'm not saying it's an advantage, but I'm trying to say is like position looks very stable, right? You're defending c2, like knight on d4 is fantastic. What is the bishop doing on b7?
Yeah,
Uh, I think white has enough activity here for,
it definitely has enough compensation.
yeah. But is EF5 forced by black if you play f5?
Maybe not.
I'm thinking how I can attack c2. Like, can I go some maybe bishop a6?
Well, okay, bishop e6. So I don't think we want to take e6.
I mean, you gotta tell me. I don't know if that's in your scheme of things, taking there, or you want to do f6 or leave it as it is. But if you play
Possibly,
f6, I think black will
yes.
leave it as it is. No, black is not going to take or play g6. Black will just allow you to play fg7 and just simply move the rook, right?
Mhm.
And if f3, rook fc8 or rook ac8, whichever rook.
Mm. Yeah, that's not very good for white.
Looks knight d4, but e5, right?
Yeah, e5. We have to take.
Yeah.
Mm.
This is okay. Like, I think now white's fine.
Yeah,
Maybe maybe
white's
instead of e5, black had something more serious, I feel like.
Yeah.
Can we go to knight d4?
Nine,
19th move, knight d4.
19.
No, after knight d4. I'm saying after knight d4, can black try some?
Could we take the knight and then play e5?
Yeah, that could be yeah, that's a good idea, no? Yeah, that's nice. And if
So,
queen d3, we have knight f2, so we are forced to take rook d3 and then e5. Yeah, good.
so we have to take.
Yes. And you have to go queen e2 or d2. I think e2 might be better so that you don't have any e3 kind of, distraction after de4 and e3.
So takes, or do we
Or
want to
maybe queen check first or something.
tech checks is interesting.
Queen f4, king moves to b1. And now take on e4. Yeah, and at least black's a pawn up. Now queen f5, queen g5. d4, rook d4, queen f5, rook e4, queen g5.
So are we saying this?
Yeah. No, I'll take with the. Yeah, maybe we'll start with queen g5. That is better than taking f5. You're right. Yeah, taking on g5 is better. No, I'm saying de4, rook d4, queen g5. de4,
Uh,
rook d4, queen g5. Yeah.
oh,
But then there's queen takes e4 here. So better then we start with queen takes f5. We take the f5 pawn instead of g5. So that if white takes on e4, we take on g5. And black is one pawn up.
well, it's showing that this is better. So we
Yeah.
could save the pawn.
But still black is the one pushing, right? Here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So okay, but he went knight d7. So knight e4 could have been a better try, but still it looks like white has a lot of chance. It's not like black has a huge advantage or like white still can create a lot of activity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back just to show the game, knight d7.
Okay. So I
Okay,
played f5 here.
okay. And where did you really start thinking like I have an advantage in this game? Like was it already here or like was it later in this game?
I would say it was a move after this
Okay,
here.
okay. So was it like what was your thought process? Like I have an advantage here. Were you like very sure of it, or was it more like I have a good feeling about the position, but I don't know if it's big enough as a convertible advantage? What was it really like?
Right now, I didn't think of it as a convertible advantage yet, but I still thought my position was better.
Okay, okay, fine. And then
He played this, so I played this.
the f6 is like his only move, right? Or maybe he had queen e5, but he's
Um,
planning the b6. Or could he have gone queen e5 instead of f6?
Queen e5. I remember thinking about this.
Okay.
I thought I would have probably done this.
And if queen takes e1 and that line, rook e1, rook e1, and going back e8.
I still think my queen and knight combined are just way better.
Yeah, queen d4. Yes, fantastic. Great. Yeah, just looks very convincing. Like black has to play f6 here, right?
Yeah.
But then you have gf6, and if g6, maybe f7 check. Yeah, that's a mate, no? f7 and queen f6, queen g7.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah, okay, sure. So yeah, I think maybe keep going. So f6 is kind of forced then, yeah.
So I play knight here to
Okay.
try and attack the pawn again.
Yeah.
And I play this.
Was like rook e1 like the first choice, or like were you considering some other move and then you figured out rook e1?
I thought rook e1 was just like way better here because I was looking at this.
Okay.
I always met the problem of bishop to d6.
Okay.
So I wanted to get rid of that.
Nice. Good. Okay. And like, how was he reacting? Like, was he burning a lot of time now? Was he, or was he like, I don't
And
know, did
this
he
was
offer
the
a...
move where he started burning a lot of time.
Okay. Did he offer
Apparently,
a
the
draw or
time
anything?
situation was like I had like 50 minutes. He had 120. Here he after this move he had 50 minutes.
Okay.
He offered a draw here, I believe.
And I believe, I mean, obviously you refused, but did you like seriously consider it, or you thought, no, I'm confident enough, I'll convert this?
No, I thought I was confident enough.
That's great to hear that. Okay, good.
Just
So,
because my pieces are so active, like there's like no way that I messed this up.
nice. Okay, keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, so King of 8 in here.
Okay. And these are like kind of only defensive moves, yeah, for him. He doesn't have really any alternate, like kind of you were able to guess his defensive moves, yeah, like before he was playing it.
Mhm.
Were you able to guess most of his defensive moves, or was there any move that like you did not expect, but suddenly like he played it and you were like, you had to figure out how to react to it?
No, I felt like I guessed basically all of his moves.
Nice. Okay. Queen c5. Okay.
Um, so Queen c5 is pretty much forced before I
Yes.
go Queen d4 because of Rook a7.
Mm-hmm.
So he plays Queen f8. And here I just convert my advantage.
So like, did you see all the way to mate? When did you see the mate? Like after Queen c6, did you see the mate?
I
Like,
saw mate here.
okay. And kind of nice that he actually allowed you to mate. Yeah, many players will resign before the...
He resigned one move before mate actually.
Oh, okay. Okay, fine. Can you show the till the end of the game? And if he does Queen c5, you just throw in Rook d1 and then the same. Yeah, Queen c5, Rook d1 check, then King c4, then b3. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just one added. Fantastic, great. So how did you like? How was the feeling after beating a grandmaster?
I mean, I was just like over the world. I mean, I immediately called my parents after this game. Like, I was so happy.
Okay. And did he analyze the game with you, like post game, like
Uh,
Grandmaster Jesse Kraai?
yeah, he gave me like a 10-20 minute analysis.
Nice, and you managed to discuss the whole game, like, or was it more like just talking, or did you like set up a board and like analyze the moves in the
Set up
game?
a board.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
It
Like, did
wasn't
you
the
ask him?
best
Did you ask him
analysis.
about it, or he kind of like started talking on his own?
No, I asked him about it.
That's very good, I think, and very nice of him. Many times players sometimes they'll just walk away, but very nice that he was analyzing the game, and very good that I always, I think I've told you long ago, if I'm not mistaken, analyzing especially with strong players is earlier before computers were there, this is how players always improved. Like they always would just talk to their opponent and they would discuss. They had this post game discussion, right? Like they would talk like, I saw this, did you see this line? Even now if you see these super GM tournaments, they just like quickly, like, we see Magnus videos, right? He'll be like, yeah, like some reactions we'll see when they are analyzing each other. Great. And this was fourth round, and fifth round also you played a grandmaster, right, Priyansh?
Yeah.
Can we maybe can quickly show that game also? So this was against Grandmaster Jesse Kraai, and the fifth round was against...
Grandmaster Lawrence Kaufman.
Yeah. And I also think he is the world senior champion, or he
Yeah.
was. I don't know
In
if he's active.
2008, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. So still a very legendary player. Can you show that game quickly as well? Yeah.